calculator. Okay, so make the name of the project FC sorry, resilience unit testing. Resilience, yeah, the unit testing. Okay, so 9 testing software. Okay, so we can start with the unit testing here. Number 1, a unit testing. Okay, and then here we can make the text under, yeah, so um, import the library. Okay, continue to 2 here, calculator, sample calculator, ya. Okay, so for the calculator here, we just go first in the calculator. So calculator, basically a calculator has 4 basic operation, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so we make the code for this class calculator. Okay, and we make the constructor. Nah, so for the constructor, we can first, this is just self here. Yeah, because just make the calculator itself, yeah. So we don't need that implementation. I make it fast. Okay, def add, this is for addition, and sub is for the subtraction with the return there. Okay, nah, lalu we have multiplication. So self A and B, return A times B, and we have the division. Okay, so that's all, yeah. So this is the complete calculator. You can run, make sure nothing error. Okay, so this is the class declaration. Class declaration, and put below down here the driver to test. You can make a C as the calculator. Then you can print the calculator, because this is the return, okay? So return will be automatically the value of the method will be the value of the return. So you can do print C, let's say diff or add lah. Add 2 and 5, and you can just print that out. Run. Okay. Nah, and then you have the 7 here. 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay. Okay, So we're gonna make a test for this. So we have the calculator. So our aim is to test whether all of this function method is working well. Okay. So we make the tester here. 1.3 is the tester. Okay, so for the tester, actually we do this uh, class test. Okay, test calculator lah. Class test calculator. Okay, we have to inherit the unit test case. Nah, so that's why you have to import this library first. Yeah, the unit test you have to import. So that's why in here you do the import library. So in the import library, you import the unit test. Okay, so the 1.1, you import the unit test first. Okay, so unit test you import and then you run. And then down here, the unit test can be used to inherit. You test the test case. Okay, so for the test, you test the add. So you test here, test the method add. Okay, test the method add. You are doing the test for add like this. Okay, and then make the object instead of calling that one by one. So you make the object and then you check by using the assert equal. So it means that the value should be equal. Which one equal with which one? So the value of this, okay, should be equal with the value of that you have assertion 7. Okay. Right, so you can run. Okay, so when you run, there will be the result. However, wait, okay, uh, um, how can we check the result? So after you run this, can check the result by make a new 1.4 run here, run the tester, okay, by calling the code a unit test, okay, main like this verbosity to exit false. So that's it. You can run. And when it says okay there, so this okay indicate that the test is going well because we have the okay here. Okay, so this is one unit test, one okay. If you have later another unit test here, there will be okay or not okay down here. So what happen if we is supposed to have the value is supposed to be 10 lah ya, supposed to be 10. Ya, seharusnya nilainya 10. Apakah hasil dari tes ini dia bilang nanti hasilnya adalah fail. Karena hasil dari 25 di add tidak sama dengan 10. Ya, misalkan semestinya nilai 10, maka dia akan berhasil bernilai fail. Oke, so dia di sini saya kembalikan dengan nilai 7. So it means that this we successfully test the method. Okay. Now we continue test the method, uh, the test method sub. Okay, testing the sub. Yeah. So you make the test sub here. Okay. Make also the calculator as the object and 2 minus 5, it should be minus 3. So this is the assertion. It means that when you execute sub 2.5, the result should be minus 3. Okay. And nothing to do with the run because run will test all of the unit tests there. Okay. So you can just re-execute the tester. Okay. And then re-execute the run. Okay. As you see here, you have the two okay. So number 1 is for the test 1. This is number 1. And this is the number 2. Okay, both are okay. Kita tes yang lain berikutnya. This is test the method. Let's say we test the method mul. Okay. However, we perhaps okay. Perhaps we don't have yet the implementation, but we know that there must be uh, there must be method mul. So we can uh, do skip on this. Now, so you can do the unit test skip. Yeah, you can do skip. Perhaps you don't have any implementation yet on that, but you know that there should be the implementation. You can do the unit test skip, not implement yet. You can do this way. You run. So when you run, okay, so this test will be skipped, yeah, not implement yet. Yeah. When you have here 20, you run, still not implement yet. So actually this test hasn't finished yet. Yeah, maybe you are still ongoing with the production of the text, yeah, of the test. Yeah. Instead of deleting that, you can just put the skip. Okay. Better using that approach, yeah, using the skip. The last one is the test method div. Yeah, you can div test calculator, test div, and then 2.5. Okay, so what happened? Accepted or not using the what is this? The float. Yeah. So you can test. So float is working. Okay. You can also test like 25, it should be 5. Nah, okay, yeah. If you intentionally make it the wrong answer, and then you test, so something wrong in here. Okay, so something failed because the answer is not correct, the assertion value is not correct. Okay, you roll back the value, you run, and then everything is okay. So actually you can put many of the case here, yeah. That this indicate the float, this indicate the integer, or any other possibility can be declared in the self-test. Okay, so when one of the tests was failed, for example, 25 div5, you assert here value is 6, 7, like 7 here. When you run, and then you run the test, there will be warning that 5 is not equal 7 in this certain line. Okay. Okay, so I roll back this to 5. So number 1. Number 2, this is the exception test. Now, for the exception test, let's say I copy from the calculator. Okay. So, but again, we have the calculator here. Okay. 2.1, the calculator. I just copy it from the above. Okay. And I make some of the modification here because sometimes it creates a zero value. Okay, let's going up there here. What happened when I test the value like 25 div 0 here? What is the result? Is it zero? Is it also, I make it as 0 here? Okay, when you run, you're gonna have kind of raise alert here because division by 0. So this cannot satisfy all of the possibility in our test. Yeah. Because actually 0 is not, cannot be defined by something. Something divided by 0 is cannot. This is undefined. Yeah. You can try. Okay. And we make the exception test below here for the reason of the existing of 0 value there. So that's why you cannot just return A divide B, cannot. Okay. So this return, I put it going down there. And if, now, so you have a kind of the checking whether the divided by the net no denominator, yeah, denominator, maybe that one lah. So the part at the below one is equal 0. So this will raise the exception. Cannot divide by 0 or division by 0 is not allowed. So should be stop, should be raised here, exception, and never return the result. Will be stopped here by exception. Okay, so this is the exception. Now you can do a test on this. You run. Okay, and make a test on this. Do the code again. Okay, so I just test the div. So class, then I type this to make it familiar. So we are used to the syntax, yeah. Test calculator. So I try not. I think add is already done there, yeah. So I put the class. This class. Nah. Okay. So it is not that method, test method add, but test method div only because add already successfully done there. This is the div. Okay. Now, so for the diff, try the two again, yeah, you can call this part. Okay, now you can call the previous one. Yeah, put it down here, copy. And then you open the comment. And then we run. Okay. And finally, you do the unit test main verbosity to exit false. Okay. Let's see the result when we are running this. Okay. What happened in here? Diff2, diff5, 0.4 float. 25, diff5 is 5, 25, this 0. Not 0 here, but should be something that what you call warning, yeah, something warning here. So this cannot be called, yeah, not by making the assert, because assert equal means that the value will be equal with it. So this I change become something that not assert equal, but this should assert the race, which is the warning will be calling, okay, when we have the um, um, what you call this, the zero, okay, so zero division error, okay, and a self C diff, okay lah, this yeah. When divided by zero, so it gives us a warning. Oh, a warning message. Okay, so what happened? Assert race zero division error. This should be a warning. Okay. Assert race. Okay. Okay. So you mean assert races? Assert races. So ini ya S typo. Okay. Assert races. Nah, can you run and what happened? Attribute test calculator object has no attribute C, but C is calculator. Yeah. C is calculator. Which part is this? Self. Wait. Okay, so this part cannot be exception, but not exception, but zero division error. Okay, maybe that one, yeah. So zero division error, and then we run. Still. Okay, so maybe something wrong because I put self here. So no need the self. Just C. Okay, run. Division by zero is not allowed. So this is coming from this part lah. Yeah, division by zero is not allowed. Yeah. So you have the C diff here. Division by zero is not allowed. So the rest exception will be displayed to us because there is a division by 0 here. Okay. Actually, maybe you can do here's exception, yeah. Exception. Okay, let's see what happens if we type exception here. If exception, the value also the same lah, exception, yeah. Division by 0 is not allowed, also the same lah. Okay, so you can adjust the code, yeah. 1. So for the last one, number 3 is the setup and tear down. Okay, so setup means test runner, okay, will run to each test. Test runner will run to each test. This avoid of repeating the same code. So do not repeat the same code. As we see here that we keep making in here, yeah, in the test here, we keep making the object of the test. So this simplify all of the test by setup and tear down. So the class, I make the test calculator with the unit test. Okay. Nah, but I provide the setup here to make the object. Yeah. So this is the make the object first. Okay. So after making the object, you can use that object at any test that you want to execute to conduct. So this is the test. Okay. Test add or test diff or any test. Let's say starting from the test diff lah. So test diff equal 49 diff 7. It means we have the 7. Okay. 12 diff 2, it means it result the 6 here. Okay, but without declaring the calculator in this test. Okay, and let's say you have the for the test. Okay, you have the test diff with the exception. Nah, okay. So for the exception here, you can do the self dot assert rise again, assert rise. Where is it? Assert raises. Okay, so raises. In here, you do the zero division error. Okay, because divide by 0. Okay. And after that, after all of that test completed, you do a tear down. So tear down means that you free all of the object that you have made for the test. So you return here super tear down. You return or the super tear down, or you can just print tearing down or clean up all resources. Okay, and then finally you delete the object. And here you can run the test back. Yeah, you can run the test. So you see here that the object C is only made once at the beginning, and all of the tests can use the object. And after all of the test was conducted here, you delete the object. Yeah, it means tearing down. Okay, you can run and wow, what happened here? Yeah, so something wrong. Division by zero is not allowed. Okay. Um, okay, you back again to the previous this, yeah. You run the calculator and then you run the tear down. Uh, oh wait, we have something error in this. Oh yeah, because we haven't yet provide the test diff C calculator assertEqual C add. This is not add, yeah. This is the diff because we want to check the division. Okay, you run and then okay, the test is okay. And then the exception also go error. Yeah, test diff exception. Um, okay, why this is error? Yeah. Hmm, test diff exception. Arises zero division error. Should be no error lah. Okay, let me check. Sure whether this known. Tear down known. This also known. Self C calculator. Not sure what happened. Maybe we have to check again the exception. Okay, I change this to the zero division. Okay, Python interactive cell, maybe no need this. Okay, just run. Okay, and then run the last one. Okay, yeah. So something wrong when you are using this just now. I don't know how come this part coming into the code, yeah. I don't remember that I'm importing this. So when you have this, you just remove, okay. No need that one. Okay, no need. So you just run. Okay. And the previous one with the exception, you can run. Okay, still the same. And now with the tear down, you can run. So when you see here that we have the C as the calculator object. We test everything. The test diff here is okay. And the test diff with the exception also, it says okay. Because exception already raised up. Okay, so it no more error. And then it tearing down. Okay, now, so tearing down, clean up all of the resource. So every time you run the test, every time you run the test like this, unit test, it will tearing down the object. Then you run the second, tearing down automatically without specifically comment, have instruction to calling it, yeah, to call it. So run the two tests and then okay, everything is okay. Okay, so this is the last part.